Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my video review for The Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 5, which is called Say the Word. Alright, so obviously after last week's episode, things were going to have to slow down a little bit, a little bit. Now, they didn't actually slow down that much compared to what I thought it was going to be. We still got to see some awesome zombie kills, some awesome zombie action, and Rick on an absolute rampage, which was pretty awesome to see. A Rick page. So this review will contain spoilers for anybody who has not seen the episode, although there is not too much. There's not too much that happens in the episode. It's really that spoiler heavy. One thing I want to say right off the bat is we didn't get to see any Carol in this episode at all. So we still don't know what state she's in. I did a video a couple days ago, and most people seem to agree with me. They think she is still alive. She's just trapped somewhere or locked in, a cell or a room somewhere in the prison, and eventually they will find her. Although it seems like at this point they think that she's dead. Near the end of the episode, we see Daryl. He puts the rose on the grave, the white rose. I believe that's a Cherokee rose, which was an episode in season 2. It was called that, talking about Sophia and all that kind of stuff when they were trying to find her. And but I don't think that Carol's actually buried there. I'm pretty sure she is still alive because there are pictures of her online at the prison that are not from an earlier episode, as far as I know. So I'm sure she is there somewhere, and I think we'll probably see her in the next, probably next episode or the episode after, one of the two. So we start off the episode, and essentially we get to see Woodbury. Just looks beautiful. Everything with it looks great. And then we switch back over to the prison, and you have Rick, essentially, who just goes into full-on zombie slayer mode. I really like everything about the scene where they sort of fade into that with Rick, and the sound is all out of tune and everything, and he's just sort of like in a daze. His eyes are kind of like dazed over, and he doesn't even know where he is or what's going on or what's happening. He's probably, losing touch with reality quite a bit, just from everything that's happened to him in, obviously, the previous episode. One of the things that was the craziest of this episode that I'll say right off the bat was that I predicted that there'd be a good chance that Lori may still be alive. However, and maybe as, not alive, but as a walker may still be there. And as soon as Rick came into that room, and she wasn't there, and the wedding ring was on the ground, I was like, oh man, they're going to do it. But they actually went even darker than that, if that's possible. Even more tragic and darker than that, as if Lori didn't suffer enough. After she dies, and she's put down, when her body's still warm, she is eaten by another walker. And you see this thing, and when you see the stomach exposed, I thought it was Lori. I was like, oh my God, they did it. And then we pretty much find out right after. We look at it, wait, that's not Lori. What the hell? That's a dude, man. And you see the hair in the thing's mouth and everything. Oh my God, man. That was so tragic and oh man, so dark. That was probably the darkest thing ever in The Walking Dead, I would say. Yeah, the darkest situation in The Walking Dead we've seen so far. And then Rick, of course, I like when he kills it, when he looks in its eyes and everything, is sort of as if to say, like the last thing it's going to see, and then shoots it afterwards, proceeds to stab his stomach. Because I imagine Rick knows that, in the walkers, from what Jenner said, there is still some kind of brain activity. So he probably just wants to avoid the possibility that she could be experiencing, even as a walker, her brain could still be active in some capacity. So, obviously he has to stab it to stop that from happening. And then he just basically proceeds to stay in that room. Before that, of course, tells Glenn to F off, basically, and pushes him away with his axe. But he had some of probably the coolest kills ever in The Walking Dead. My favorite in this episode, Zombie Kill of the Week, would have to be his, where he's walking. There's a lot of good ones. But where he's walking down the hallway, and he kills two, and then he turns to the other one, and he slashes it, and the head gets cut in half. That one looked really good. Some of Michonne's kills, when she opens up the cage and kills the 5 or 6 walkers, however many there were, the one of them, as she cut it, it changed to CG, and I noticed it. It didn't look very good. So that's why I was thinking, well, Rick's kills were better, and that one especially where he cuts in half was better. So, plus the one where he's put in the mouth, you got to give the Zombie Kill of the Week to Rick. It's just, you have to do it. It's how it is. So yeah, so that's everything with Rick. Of course, at the end of the episode, the phone rings. That was really cool. Kind of a toss back to the comic books that we're going to see a lot of the stuff that, happens to Rick sort of after Lori. And I like, too, that we don't know exactly where they're going to go with that. Like, they end the episode right as he says hello. So we don't know who's on the other line, whether or not it's going to be someone like a real person, or if it's just going to be the same as the comic books. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, so I'm not going to mention what that is. But those of you guys who have read the comic books, you know exactly what I'm referring to. So that's really cool, because that's in all the Walking Dead, one of my favorite parts is that, to deal with that type of thing, if you guys know what I'm talking about. How Rick sort of deals with and copes with the death of Lori, which is really cool. Obviously, amazing acting by Andrew Lincoln. Again, last episode was so outstanding acting, but again, this one too, really good as well. So that was cool. All right, let's see what else we got here. So we got to spend some more time at Woodbury. I like the whole fight with it's all staged, the whole stage fight, the ZWWE wrestling with Merle as the ZWWE champion. That was just really funny. The whole part of the whole thing was just ridiculous and funny at the same time. I like in the preview for next week how the governor says that he loves it and all of that, and it's entertainment. And you know what's funny about the TV series is that with regards to Andrea and Michonne and how they treat the governor and Woodbury, from inside Woodbury, nothing they're really doing is that bad. Like the governor himself, from what we know, the way he treats his people, it seems like he treats his people really well. And actually, Michonne is kind of the one who's a bit off. Same with Lori. I thought that was cool how they take their teeth out so that, there's no danger of them being bitten in any way, shape, or form, really. And they're just doing it, all for fun. So that was cool. The whole thing I thought was really interesting. And also the fact that Michonne left and they actually let her leave, I didn't think they were going to. Sounds like maybe they will chase her down. Now that she's left, they'll chase her down and try to kill her, which is probably the case of what's going to happen, as well as Andrea leaving. I think it's kind of weird that Andrea's freaking out so much about the wrestling thing, because for me personally, I don't think it's that big of a deal, especially since they pull their teeth out and that, and it's staged and all that. It's not like a real gladiator fight. Like, they're not killing each other in there. They're just having fun, putting on a show for the people. So I don't see it. Plus, they're like kind of like hicks. So it makes sense that they would try to put on WWE wrestling. A little racial there. Yeah, I know, but I'm white. I can say that. I can be a little racial when it comes to people like that. So that's that. Maggie and Daryl go and get some baby supplies for the baby that does not have a name yet. But in the comic books, the name of Judy. In the TV show, they'll probably name it the same thing. But they could choose something different. I like the part where Daryl looks at all the handprints and he sees Sophia there. I wonder if that's just him or if that was actually there. You know what I mean? Like if it was him seeing it and it wasn't actually there. Either way, or if it was actually hers, because I think she was from around there. So there's a potential that it could have actually been hers, or he could have just been seeing it. So that was kind of a neat throwback to season 2. I like that as well. Same as the rose at the end. That was cool too. The possum was funny. Possums are actually really, really dirty animals. I get them sometimes in my backyard, and they are they're disgusting. They really are disgusting. And also too, they eat a lot of sewage and stuff, so they're probably going to eat it. I mean, in a zombie apocalypse, you got to eat what you can find. But they eat a lot of garbage and stuff like raccoons. They're not the type of meat you really want to eat, because you get sick off that, because they eat just trash basically. Same as raccoons. Raccoons, they just eat garbage. So, and that gets processed and everything. You're going to eat their meat, kind of nasty, but whatever. You got to take what you can get in the zombie apocalypse. Cool scene with Daryl in this episode is where he's holding the baby. I thought that was just a really kind of touching scene and cute scene at the same time. But then Carl ruins it when he asks him about the name, and Carl the only names he can think of are people in the group that have died. It's like, can't you think of any other name but women that have been around that have died? God damn it. It's just ridiculous. So anyway, that was just, but kids, he's a kid. So, kids, one-track mind, they get, it could happen, it really could. So that's that. Let's see, did I miss anything? I think that's pretty much it. It was another great episode. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Slowed down a little bit, but it was just perfect. We needed it. And there were still lots of zombies, lots of action, lots of killing. I never heard about the budgets for Season 3, but they must have gotten a really good budget increase, because they have had a lot more walkers, a lot more things happening. It's been a lot better than, in terms of pacing, than Season 2 was. So I've been extremely pleased so far with everything that's happened, and definitely the highlight of this episode for me would be the Rick going into that room there and shooting that walker and everything. Man, that was so dark. Darkest moment in all The Walking Dead for sure. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought about Say the Word. I thought it was a great episode. I liked it very much. And it wasn't, it's kind of a relaxing episode after last week. Still exciting, but you can't have episodes like last week's every week. I mean, there'd be no characters left after like a couple episodes. Anyway, that's really all I got to say, guys. Trev, say in peace.